In the sense, whatever the service or whatever the product which is provided by the A Limited is familiar in the market. There may be a chances that in order to balance the profit and loss account, so this goodwill which is written off, the profit which is earned because of the name, fame or reputation of the business. What do you mean by control? The whole control of the organization is called as internal control. So here the auditor has to see through that in relation to stock in trade. Hello everyone, I am Arshita, lecturer, Department of Commerce, Vidhyashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence, Mysore. Today we are in the third session of Unit 5, that is verification and valuation. So my dear students, I have already told you verification is nothing but finding the truth of assets and liability in an organization is called as verification. Whereas valuation in the sense finding the money value of assets and liability is called as valuation of assets and liability. So in this unit you are going to learn about verification and valuation of assets and liability. Let us see how we are going to verify and value each asset and liability which is given in the balance sheet of an organization. Now let us quickly recall what we have discussed in a previous session. So in a previous session, we have covered this topic. So we learned what is verification and valuation of assets and liability. Next, objects of verification of assets and liability. Then difference between ouching as well as verification. So what is the difference between ouching as well as verification? Next, we have learnt about valuation of assets. So what do you mean by valuation of assets? So I have already told you valuation of assets means finding the actual value of assets is called as valuation of assets. Next, objectives of valuation of assets. So what is the main objective of knowing the money value of assets? So these are the few topics that we have already discussed in a previous session. In today's session, we shall continue with new topic, that is verification and valuation of goodwill. So my dear students, you are familiar about goodwill. So in each and every organization, certain amount will be called as goodwill. Now what is goodwill? Goodwill is called as an intangible asset. Why it is called as an intangible asset? Like any other asset like machinery or furniture. So this intangible asset cannot be touched. So cannot be touched as well as seen, but it can only be felt. So it is called as an intangible asset. So what is goodwill then? So it is a name, fame or reputation of the business is called as goodwill. So it is also called as, or it is also known as, over and above the normal profit is called as goodwill. So for better understanding, I'll give an example here. For example, there are two companies, that is A Limited and B Limited. Now these two companies are undertaking a particular type of business activity. For example, they are undertaking automobile business. So they are undertaking automobile business. Now A Limited is quite older than B Limited. For example, it is 10 years older than B Limited. Now in a particular year, so if you take 2020, so A Limited is earning a profit of rupees 20 lakh, whereas B Limited is earning a profit of rupees 15 lakh. But they are undertaking similar kind of business and they are located in a similar locality, but A Limited is earning more profit than that of B Limited. As I told you, they are undertaking similar kind of business, that is automobile business. Still, if you take 1 year profit, A Limited is earning the same, or A Limited is earning more profit than B Limited. Now what would be the reason? As I've already told you, A Limited is a quite older business than B Limited. In the sense, whatever the service or whatever the product which is provided by the A Limited is familiar in the market. So people are aware about the product which is produced by A Limited. But B Limited is a quite new organization. So here the public are not aware about the product and service which is provided by the B Limited. But if you take the same financial year, if you take the profit of same financial year, A Limited is earning a more profit than B Limited. So what would be the reason? As I told you, it is quite older, in the sense it is familiar in the market. So the profit which is earned because of the name, fame or reputation of the business. So what do you mean by reputation? In the sense it is familiar in the market, right? It is familiar to the public. Now it is earning more profit because of its reputation. Now what is goodwill then? So over and above the normal profit. So without any reputation, name, fame, your B Limited is earning a profit of rupees 15 lakh, right? So with this name, fame and reputation, A Limited is earning a profit of 20 lakh. So over and above the normal profit. So this 15 lakh without any reputation is called as normal profit. Then what is goodwill? Over and above the normal profit, that is 5 lakh. So here it is 5 lakh more than B Limited, right? So this over and above the normal profit is called as what? Goodwill. That is 20 lakh minus 15 lakh will get 5 lakh. So that 5 lakh is called as what? Goodwill. So goodwill can be calculated based on number of factors. So there are number of factors to be considered while calculating the goodwill. Here I have taken just the year or the reputation what it has depending upon the duration of the business. So here as I told you, A Limited is quite older. So because of that it is earning more profit than B Limited. So this is or the profit which is over and above the normal profit is called as goodwill. And goodwill is called as intangible asset because we cannot touch or see that asset. So it can only be felt. So the reputation, name, fame can only be felt. It cannot be touched or seen. So it is called as an what? Intangible asset. Now let us see when compared to auditing. So how this auditing? So if you take the field of auditing, so how verification and valuation of goodwill is done in case of goodwill. So let us see. So whenever the company has purchased or acquired a running business, for example, now think about A Limited only. So it is there from 10 years. Now it has very good reputation. For example, if an organization purchased this business, then what would be the case and has paid it an amount? So of course they have to pay some amount while purchasing a firm, which is called as what? Purchase consideration. So we'll call it as purchase consideration in excess of the book value of its net asset. That is nothing but, so this purchase consideration includes goodwill also. That is, the amount should be paid in relation to goodwill also, because from 20 years they are having good name, fame and reputation in the public. So for that reason, when an organization is going to purchase that A Limited, so what it has to pay? It has to pay some amount for the reputation what it has gained from past 10 years. So for that reason, they have to pay some amount which is called as what? Goodwill. I have already told you it's nothing but excess of or over and above the normal profit is called as goodwill. So excess of the book value of its net asset, the excess is called as goodwill. Hope you have understood the meaning of goodwill. It can be verified from the vendor's agreement and the auditor has to see whether there is a specific sum which is paid or whether it is the excess of price paid. So, depending upon the calculation, depending upon the vendor's agreement, that is about sales agreement, here the auditor has to see through that whatever the amount which is paid in relation to goodwill, whether it is excess of net assets or it is less than the net assets over the tangible asset, and see that it is properly recorded. So, in order to know what is the actual value of goodwill which is earned in 10 years, so this is just an example, that is 10 years. So, in order to know that, a proper auditing has to be conducted. So let us see, when the company has written up the value of all its assets on a revaluation and has raised a goodwill account in the books, the goodwill appears in the balance sheet. Of course, the goodwill has to appear in the balance sheet because it is an intangible asset. So it will be recorded in the asset side of the balance sheet where it has certain value in the future, right? So it is recorded in the asset side of the balance sheet. In this case, the auditor has to see the basis of valuation and get satisfied about the same. So, of course, in the asset side, they will record the goodwill. So, they will record the goodwill. Since goodwill is an intangible asset, it has to be recorded in the asset side of the balance sheet, and the auditor has to see through that whatever the amount which is recorded in relation to goodwill, whether it is correct or not. For that reason, they have to value as well as verify the goodwill. It has to see that the excess is credited to the capital reserve or revaluation reserve and no dividend is being declared from it. So after verifying and valuation, you should see through that if any excess amount which is there in the goodwill, it has to be credited to capital reserve or revaluation reserve, and no dividend has to be distributed from this amount, that is from the goodwill amount. He has also see the disclosure requirement of Schedule 6 and ensure that the facts are disclosed for 5 years subsequent to the date of revaluation. So he has to see through that whether the actual value of goodwill is recorded in the balance sheet or not as per the Schedule 6. Sometimes goodwill which is written off earlier may be brought back in the books of account to adjust the debit balance of profit and loss account. Sometimes there may be a chances that in order to balance the profit and loss account, so this goodwill which is written off, in the sense goodwill which is already been distributed, so that will be recorded in the profit and loss account to balance the account. In such cases, the auditor should investigate the fact and satisfy the full before approving such method of creating goodwill. So here the return of goodwill will not be taken into account. So as I told you, sometimes they will take into account in order to balance the profit and loss account. In such cases, the auditor has a right to investigate about that goodwill. He should also refer the board resolution. So here it is a duty of an auditor to check through the board resolution. In case he is not satisfied, the fact should be reported to the shareholders. So he has to go through the board resolution. So if the auditor is not satisfied with the board resolution, then he has to report this aspect, that is return of goodwill which is recorded in the profit and loss account. So he has to report that to the shareholders of the company. Next is, if goodwill has been created by another means, the auditor should see that relevant facts are properly disclosed and are supported by the documentary evidence. So here, of course, each and every transaction requires documentary evidence. Suppose if the goodwill have recorded in the books of account, it should be recorded with a documentary evidence. So here the auditor has to make sure that the actual value of goodwill has to be recorded in the books of account, that is in the asset side of the balance sheet. Since it is an intangible asset, of course it has to be recorded in the asset side of the balance sheet. So whatever the amount which is recorded, so here the auditor has to make sure that whether it is correct or not. And in some cases there may be a chances where in order to balance the profit and loss account, this return of goodwill will be recorded in the profit and loss account. In such cases, here the auditor has a right to investigate the company. So if he is not satisfied, then he will report to the shareholders of the company. So this is about verification and valuation of goodwill. Now coming to the next concept, verification and valuation of stock in trade or inventory. So I have told you in this unit you are going to see how each and every assets and liability are going to verify and value in an organization. Now if you see stock in trade or inventory, so here stock is also called as inventory. So let us see how this stock has to be verified as well as how it is to be valued. So what do you mean by stock in trade? Let us see what is the meaning of stock in trade. So stock in trade refers to the stock of goods which have to be ultimately converted into cash. So if you take the fixed asset, so it is purchased in order to further production, right? Whereas why these goods are purchased? In order to sell or in order to sell in the organization. That is, by selling that goods, it can be converted into cash. Now what do you mean by stock in trade? Stock in trade refers to stock of goods. It's nothing but stock of goods which can be converted into cash. By selling it, we can convert into cash. So in the case of manufacturing concern, stock trade includes, so let us see about manufacturing concern. So what do you mean by stock in trade? So it may be considered as stock of raw materials. Of course, so what do you mean by raw materials? That is a material which is required in order to produce a finished product. So here stock in trade also refers to stock of raw material in case of manufacturing concern, and stock of semi-finished goods or work in progress. That is the second stage where raw material is converted into semi-finished goods. It's not finished goods, but it is semi-finished goods. So under manufacturing concern, raw material is also called as stock in trade, whereas semi-finished goods is also called as stock in trade. And stock of finished goods is also called as stock in trade. And the next one is scrap or byproduct. It is after selling that goods. So whatever the amount what they will get, so they will call it as scrap value. So here scrap or byproducts, store and spare parts. So all these items are called as stock in trade under manufacturing concern. Whereas in normal concern, so the stock of goods which can be converted into cash, so that goods are called as stock in trade. So in case of trading concern, stock in trade includes only finished goods. So under manufacturing concern, all these items are considered as stock in trade, whereas in trading concern, only finished goods is called as stock in trade, which can be sold and converted into cash immediately. So this is about stock in trade. Now let us see what is the importance of verifying and valuation of stock in trade. So why do we value as well as verify this stock in trade? So verification and valuation of stock in trade at the close of the year is a paramount importance. So at the end of the year, so we have to know what is the exact stock in trade, that is stock of goods. So it is very important to verify as well as value stock in trade. In fact, verification and valuation of stock in trade at the close of the year is an important duty of an auditor. Of course, here the organization have to know what is the stock of goods in the organization. So in order to know the actual quantity as well as quality of the goods in the organization, so an auditor has to verify and value the stock in trade. Now let us see how we are going to verify the stock in trade. So verification of stock in trade does not mean merely checking the stock statement, that is verifying whether the stock in trade is included in the stock statement. It is much more than this. So in stock statement, they will have all the details about the stock. So here stock in trade or verifying and valuation of stock in trade is not just verifying the stock statement, that is seeing the actual stock statement. So it is more than this. Let us see what are the aspects that includes under verifying and valuing of stock in trade. So the first one is verification of physical existence of stock in trade. Of course, it's not just that seeing the stock statement, that is seeing the statement what they have written or which is there in the written form. Other than that, they have to check the physical existence of stock. For example, if they have written 2 tons of goods, then they have to physically verify that goods. Of course, it will be written in the stock statement. Then the auditor has to physically verify whether that 2 tons are there in the godown or not. That is physical existence. Next one is verifying the ownership of the goods. Of course, there may be a chances in an organization where some other person's goods might have stored in the godown. In such cases, they have to verify whether that goods belong to that organization or not, whether that goods belongs to that company or not. Who is the owner of that actual goods? And the next one is verification of the quantities included in the statements of stock. Of course, they have to verify this stock statement along with the quantity what is there in the godown. So they have to physically verify the quantity of the goods. And the next one is examination of the original transaction that result in the stock in trade. So whatever the transaction they have recorded in relation to stock in trade, so they have to verify that transaction. Next, ensuring that the stock it purchases, issues and dispatch are properly recorded as per the company's policies. So whether as per the company's policies, this stock in trade have been purchased, whether it has been dispatched properly according to the company's policies. Of course, we cannot go against the company policy, right? So being an auditor, he should see through that whether these goods have purchased properly, whether it is issued and dispatched properly, which as per the company's policies. And the next one is ensuring that provision is made for obsolete and slow moving items. Of course, there should be a provisions that has to be made for the fast moving of goods from one place to another. So the auditor has to see through that whether any provision that has been taken by the organization for the obsolete as well as slow moving items. And the next one is examination of the system of internal control and its evaluation. Of course, we have studied about internal control. So what do you mean by control? The whole control of the organization is called as internal control. So here the auditor has to see through that in relation to stock in trade. So whether they have maintained a proper internal control or not, and whether they are going to evaluate or evaluation has to be done about the internal control, in the sense whether the internal control is efficient as well as effective or not. And the next one is verification is the arithmetical accuracies of the statement of stock, that is calculations, extensions, final total, etc. Of course, the main intention of this verification and valuation is to see through that the arithmetical accuracy of books of account. Here also, by verifying and valuing their stock in trade, so they will come to know the arithmetical accuracy of the statement in relation to stock in trade. So this is about verification and valuation of stock in trade. So what you have to remember, stock in trade is nothing but the finished goods which is kept in an organization to be sold. So, or which can be converted into cash is called as stock in trade for a trading concern. But for a manufacturing concern, it may be a raw material, or it may be a semi-finished goods or work in progress, or it may be a finished goods. So that can be converted into finished goods later. That is this raw material as well as semi-finished goods. So all these items are called as what? Stock in trade for a manufacturing concern. So here also, when the quantity of the stock is more, so there may be a chances of fraud as well as malpractice. In order to reduce that, or in order to see the arithmetical accuracy of books of account in relation to stock in trade, of course verification and valuation is very important. Now let us see verification and valuation in relation to investments. Of course, investments are quite common in an organization. So we call it as investment is an asset, right? So investment we will record in the asset side of the balance sheet. Now let us see how the organization or how the auditor is going to verify as well as value this investment. So investment include government securities, shares and debentures of a joint stock company. So what do you mean by investment? Investment includes government securities. So the securities of the government, it may be shares or debentures, and shares and debentures joint stock company, in the sense how the organization have invested its money in various types of security is called as investment. Now, while undertaking the verification and valuation of the investment, an auditor should observe the following points. Let us see what are the points that are to be observed by an auditor by verifying this investment. So, the first one is he should call for and examine the schedule of investment held by the client by reference to relevant ledger accounts. Now, what the auditor has to see, along with the ledger account where they have recorded all the investments, so he has to verify with the proper schedule. So he has to see with the proper document. So he has to compare with the proper document whatever they have recorded in the ledger accounts in relation to investment. And the next point is, he should see that investment have been shown in the balance sheet distinctly and properly. Of course, in the asset side, so what we are going to record? So in the asset side, we'll record current assets, investment and fixed asset. So and fixed assets. So whether these assets, so whether the investment have been shown distinctly, separately, so it should not be combined with any of the current asset as well as fixed asset. So it has to be shown distinctly. So here the auditor has to see through that whether it has been shown distinctly, so that will come to know what is the total investment which is made in the organization. If the investment are in the hands of the client, the auditor should verify the existence of the investment by potential or personal inspection. So, if it is there in the hands of the organization or in the client, then he has to see with proper inspection. So, you have to inspect that investment. He should examine all the investments at one sitting. So, he has to verify with proper documents with one sitting. And the next one is if the investments are deposited with the bank. So suppose if the investments are made in the bank or any other creditor as security towards loan borrowed, the auditor should get a certificate. Suppose if the investment is made in the organization itself, then he has to verify with the proper document inside the organization. Suppose if the investment is made in bank, where the investment act as a security for the loan borrowed from the financial institution, or if the investment is made in any other securities. So here creditors, a new person enters, that is creditors, right? In such cases, here they have to verify the certificate. That is, if the investment is made for the bank or any other person who is outside the organization, here the auditor has to check the certificate of investment. And the next one is if securities have been purchased during the year, he should verify the purchase by examining the certificate. Suppose if any investment he have purchased, in such cases also you have to examine the certificate for what he has purchased. And the next one is he should see that transfer fees, stamp duty, etc. incurred on the purchase of investment are properly capitalized. Of course, these expenses is related to that investment, right? So it has to be capitalized. So if any investment is being purchased, in such cases, here the auditor has to see through that all the expenses which is related to that investment, whether it has been properly recorded and whether it has been properly capitalized. And the next one is if the securities have been sold during the year. Suppose if the securities what they had in the organization, suppose it has sold in the organization, the auditor should verify the sale of investment with the proper broker sold notes. So if the investment is being sold, it has to verify the broker sold notes for the proper verification if the investments are sold in the organization. Next one is he should see whether the profit or loss made on sale of investment is properly adjusted to accounts. Of course, there may be a chances of profit and loss, right? So there may be a chances of profit and loss by the sale of investment. So that also has to be recorded properly in the books of account. So the auditor has to see through that if any investment they have sold, that has to be verified. Along with that, if any profit and loss incurred on a sale of investment, so he has to verify or he has to see whether it has been recorded properly in the books of account. And the next one is he should ensure that the investments are registered in the name of the client. So it is very essential. It's not that someone's investment cannot be sold by an organization. So it has to be registered in the name of the client where an auditor goes for auditing process. So that organization is known as client. Now that investment should be registered in the name of client and they are free from charges other than those disclosed, and he should not be with any of the charge. He should pay all the charges and he should be free of charges. Next is after the verification of investment is over, the auditor should concern himself with the valuation of investment. So once the verification is over, so once he does the verification, he has to go through valuation of investment, that is ascertaining the money value of investment. He should see that investments are properly valued. So he has to see whether the investments have been properly valued or not. So in my next session, I'm going to discuss about verification and valuation of different assets. So in today's session, we have learnt about goodwill, we have learnt about stock in trade, and we have learnt about this investment. So in my next session, I'm going to continue with few more verification of assets and liabilities. So my dear students, in today's session, we have learned about verification of goodwill, stock in trade as well as investment. See you all in my next session. Till then, take care. Thank you.